What was your very first memory of working out?
There's this workout called Calsu, which is like a ton of burpees and like cleans. I had no idea what a clean was, and I probably didn't even know how to do a burpee. And I could barely lift a barbell, and I wanted to die.
Was there a moment in your life that made you say, fitness is my purpose?
Man, I would say it was more like, not that fitness was my purpose, more like fitness was my outlet, like what connected me to fitness. I have like a really crazy background, and during my, I like to say like my 3 or 4 years of like a bad streak of like bad luck in my life, where I just had like a really bad streak of incredibly unlucky things happen to me, I just started working out and thought that that was like a very good, healthy thing for me to kind of like grasp to when I felt like my world was like just out of control. So for me, like I define that as more like my pivotal moment in connection with fitness versus like, this is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life. It is whether I were to be coaching it or just doing it for myself for health purposes.
Growing up, did you ever struggle with a body image or self-confidence?
Still present. I think everybody suffers from that. My weight has fluctuated like crazy. I mean, everyone sees me as this like petite, fit person, but I've struggled with a lot of like body image and like bad habits when it comes to eating. And what made that even worse was like an obsession with like being small. And to be honest, what made that even worse for me in my like fitness career was actually weightlifting. And I know that sounds bad because I actually truly love weightlifting, but being like strong and having like this image of that I have to be strong, but I have to be small because that's what people paint me as or see me as, caused me to have like severe body dysmorphia like within myself like over the last couple years. But I've always struggled with it like since I was younger. I think most people do, you know, whether it's in a small amount or a larger amount.
What did you feel in your body when you were helping someone for the first time in fitness?
Joy, pure joy, because I like connecting with people. I connect with people in multiple different ways, but through fitness, like because that became such a crutch for me, I wanted to be able to share that joy and passion with others. And knowing that I was, you know, good at it or like was passionate about it, and I had the personality for it, and people felt very welcomed or like at home like with me in general. My personality allowed me to just network and connect with people. And I'm big with, I think that's like a big piece of me is like I truly enjoy people. I don't enjoy all aspects of people, but I truly enjoy people. And to me, like I said, fitness has been that bridge for me. And being in the fitness industry as a coach and a trainer, I'm able to share that even more.
Have you ever had a client transformation that made you cry?
Yeah, there was a lady, her name was Anna. She was an older lady. Some of you probably know her, she moved to Spain. But I did personal training with her, and she was a brilliant woman. And because she is growing in age, she started suffering from dementia. And also like she was very frail and struggled doing a lot of movements. We shared a lot of very nice very nice moments in terms of like her just being able to do something that she never thought she could do, which was like, you know, move a certain type of weight or squat to a certain depth. Or like, you know, like she would cry to me because she would forget some of the movements that we would do. So I started videotaping for her. And so like for me, it's more like the transformation of her being able to, you know, we went from just practicing balance stuff to her being able to like squat for the first time. When it comes to like, I mean, sure, like I see like weight loss and stuff in moments like that, but it's more like when you have somebody crying to you because they're so happy that they're able to do something for the first time, like to me, like that is, I've had so many different moments like that, and like that just gives me pure joy and satisfaction that I'm doing the right thing, you know, that I'm in the right spot.
What do you think most people misunderstand about what you do?
I feel like people misunderstand in terms of, oh, well, you could be doing other things with your life. That has been like the moral of the story, whether it hits home because it's like my mom disapproves, you know, it's not like a super high paying job, or it doesn't sound as cool as like a lawyer or a doctor or a firefighter or whatever my friends or anyone else says that I should be doing. For me, what people misunderstand is that like I truly love what I do. Like I have an aptitude for connecting with people. I have an aptitude for learning how people move, how to do corrective movements, how to get them to from point A to point B, right? How to put people at ease, because you're also a therapist when you're doing fitness too. But it's just like, I get so much enjoyment of just having that connection with somebody and in this specific field that even when people like tell me I should be doing this X, Y, and Z and making X type of money, like I always tell them the same answer. I'm happy. Like I truly like, it's not that I'm comfortable, it's that I really enjoy what I do, where I work, and who I'm around. And if to me, like no one could pay me, I mean, you could You could pay me. I'm gonna lie. That's a lie. Somebody could pay me a lot of money and I'd be like, you know what, I love it so much, but I'll take that and then I'll come back. But you get what I'm trying to say, you know, like no amount of money, like if I were to take a job and I hated it and it wasn't something I was truly passionate about, then I'm gonna be miserable the rest of my life. But I like what I do. I love what I do. So to me, like, I hit gold.
When you're not feeling confident, what do you tell yourself? What pulls you back?
I think about all the rough spots I've been. I think about my upbringing. I think about, you know, some of the worst times in my life. And then I remember that if I could make it through that, I could make it through anything. And I remind myself that there are things out there that could be worse. And if I just flip my perception and see whatever slim light of positivity, like I'll be fine. Like I'm not dying. I don't have my legs chopped off. I could be in way worse situations, and just because whatever I'm going through, a lack of confidence, a lack of motivation, you know, a financial crisis, whatever the case may be, I'll be fine. I'll be fine because I'm strong enough to know that I will put in the work, I will get to where I need to be, even if I take a couple steps back or I fall in a pit, I'll climb up eventually, and I just keep reminding myself that I've been there, I've been to the bottom of the barrel, and I'll be fine.
What beliefs you held early in your career that you're now completely changed your mind about?
Honestly, I feel like I kind of hang on to the same beliefs. I feel like earlier on, I know like some people you just can't help unless they want to help themselves, you know? No matter how much you give them structure, accountability, how much you help them, you know, they have to want to help themselves. But that's something that I knew and accepted like early on. So I kind of feel like I have the same beliefs, you know.
How do you build trust with someone who's never felt safe in a gym?
You know, you got to build that rapport. I ask about their experience. I ask about, you know, what makes them nervous beforehand, or what experience, if any, you know, that they've had. I get to know like what are their goals, like what is it that they're afraid of, what is it that they're trying to achieve, what's your 3-month, what's your 6-month, what's your long term, you know. I put them at ease. What's your background, where are you from, man? Like tell me about your personality. And so the more that I kind of like chip down that wall, the more people feel at ease about like coming into a gym. Like I build their confidence in terms of like, hey, like I've experienced this type of person. I'm used to dealing with this type of person. I've seen people go about it this way, like, and I provide comfort in terms of like, you can do it. You know, there's always a way. Like there's a way, whether you have an injury, you have a surgery, you have a pre-existing condition, there's always something you can do, right? There's no reason for you to do nothing. There's always something that you can do. And I try to preach that to every single person who comes to me with like a fear.
What's the hardest part about watching someone give up on themselves?
Feeling a little helpless as like your peer, as like the person on the outside who's trying to help them. Because again, it falls into what I was talking about. You can only do so much for somebody if they don't want to help themselves, right? I can lend you a hand if you're in a pit, but if you don't take it, I can't pull you out unless you're willing to take that step with me. So when people fall off and they're not willing to put in that effort, or they think that it's impossible, I can say as much positivity and things that, you know, to bring up your spirits and get you back in here, but you have to want that for yourself. I can't make those feelings for you. Have you ever been through a season where your health fell apart, and what happened? Multiple times. All right, so there's been a few things, man. Some of them, like, just, I guess, if I were to point out a few key points. A couple years ago when my father passed away, right? I'd never had a close relationship with my father, but I didn't really know him, but I didn't know how, like, that would actually affect me. And it wasn't until, like, months later I realized, like, how badly it affected me. And I fell off fitness hard. I mean, like, I was just trying to like go do fun things and get my mind off stuff because I had like resentment for not like having a relationship with him. And I ended up falling off like fitness, work, everything. Like I struggled for quite a few months. That would be one time frame. Another is, I mean, a lot of it is like some kind of stressful situation in my life. Apparently I don't handle stress the best. And it's either gonna go, I do handle it really, really well, or it's a catastrophe. And so another point in time would be like, you know, man, that was my most major one though. I mean, I've had different moments. So injury, whatever the case may be. This will go in hand with that moment you had. What were the tools that you developed physically and mentally that got you back on track? I would say the tools that got me back on track was more so when I got to a point where I was just kind of like sat back and it hit me like, damn, like I'm out of shape, messing up. I'm not who I am, who I usually am. I'm different. When I finally hit that moment that like I was willing to accept that I am different now and I did not like it, then I started trying to structure things to help me with my motivation. And in different periods in time in my life, whether it was like my most, like I said, destructive time period, which would be when my dad passed away, or, these little hiccups throughout my life, it's more so putting myself in positions where I'm surrounded by people who are like-minded and positive, right? Learning to fill my cup and not fill others. Right? And figuring out what are the things. Starting off small, because I've already learned throughout the years that big drastic changes I cannot handle. I'm not consistent. And although everyone's like, oh, you're so fit, you're so happy and chipper, like I am human. I am human just like everybody else, and I've had some really dark, awful moments. And it's not something that I snap back within a week. I'm talking like sometimes it's taken me like months to get back. But I try to structure and figure out what allows me to have a better headspace first, what allows me to find a rhythm, even if my rhythm is just a small goal like working out once a week or doing something that puts a smile on my face that is truly for me and not for somebody else once a week. So I start off small, I make that consistent, whether that's after 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of just doing something small like that. Then if I am able to show that I can be consistent at that, then I add to it. Maybe I'm working out twice a week. Maybe I'm scheduling once a month for me to go do this, whatever. And then I keep doing it till I feel like I can handle whatever I need to handle, or I normalize how I used to be, whatever the case may be.
What do you hope people remember about you after you stop coaching?
I hope people remember me smiling and my kindness. Like, I don't really care. I'm sure I have moments with certain people, but I want to be remembered and known that I was a kind person, that I was a good person, and that I smiled a lot. Because to me, like, we get so sucked into everything in the world, and there's a lot of negativity. And I hear from a lot of people that I'm always smiling, and like it makes them smile, and it makes me happy that that's what people think of me. Like, they're like, oh, she's happy, like whatever. Like, I want people to remember me as that happy, kind, smiling person.
What does success really look like to you now? Has it changed over time?
Yes. Growing up, my mom drilled into my head that success was a financial thing. Again, like, I'm the black sheep of my family because I'm not the one. I didn't go to college. I have no education, just high school and a bunch of certificates. I don't have a really awesome house and a really cool job like my brother and my sister. So for me, it was drilled into my head, a measurement of success was your stature in your career. And I thought that for a long time at first growing up. And then as I got into fitness and became more passionate about it, my definition of success is more like how I feel I lived my life. Like, honestly, truly, a lot of people, I see friends, I see my siblings go through life, they hate what they do, they have no time for themselves, they've never experienced another country or done something, jumped out of a plane, any of those things. Like, for me, I've done that. I've jumped out of a plane. I've gone to multiple countries, like I've been on a TV show, I've done all these weird, crazy things, and I'm living my life. Like, I don't want to, and that's my definition of success, right? I can successfully say up to this point, I have done some really fascinating things that people would never even know I've done and experienced. And that is freaking cool, right? And so for me, like, success is me being able to say, like, I didn't just sit by. I didn't just work and do nothing with my life. I lived it, I have no regrets, and I'm happy with what I've done with my life.
Is there any message that you want to give to people about the importance of just keep moving?
I mean, it's a cliche statement, but health is wealth, right? You got people like, I mean, it's probably made up because, Instagram tells lies, but Japan has like a ton of people who are like 100 years old, like walking around, like you come over to different areas in the world and you see people who are like 40 and 50 who can't even pick themselves off the floor. So it's just like, do you want to shorten your lifespan by that much just because you are not focusing and investing in yourself, right? Health is wealth. The healthier you are, the longer you're gonna live. You're gonna live. The longer you're gonna last, right? I wanna be 60 years old and climbing a mountain and being able to breathe. I don't wanna be 60 years old and being put in a home already, right? So that's the difference, right? You invest in yourself, find a passion to it, and if you don't have a passion for exercising or taking care of yourself, then treat it like it's a mandatory thing, because it is a mandatory thing. You have one body, one life, and time goes by very, very quickly, especially like after 30s, your health just steadily declines, very steadily declines, like I felt that immediately. So that would be my thing. Like, if you don't like to do it, then treat it as like you are investing in your life and your timeline.